Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is the 105 leFH18B2, the French Tier 5 premium SPG that you might know as a leFhy or a leaf blower. We know as Fifi La Pew Pew, because she's French and she pews a lot at the enemy. Well, this one's sitting on the northeast corner of Westfield under the command of Citron01. And that's 3 marks of excellence on his barrel, which is fairly rare for a VP. If you've got one of those, you are quite deadly. Okay, it's the Tier 5 French Premium SPG, one of only 2 Premium SPGs in the game. Now, because we're using Aslains mods, and of course the battle assistant that comes from Armored Inspector, you have to zoom out every time somebody selects to aim at the enemy. It's because of the way the battle assistant works. It puts you into zoom mode straight away, and so you have to zoom back out, otherwise you won't see what's going on. Citron01 is just basically testing the area at the moment. He's looking for a target. Oh, he's found one. He's got a Tier 6 battle. He's a Tier 5 Arty, so he's going to earn 10% extra for every Tier 6 that he hits. First shot actually hits the roof of the building instead of the Excelsior. And he decided not to shoot there, he's just holding his aim. And I think you can see one of the enemy Arty, well there is only one enemy Arty, and it's an AMX13AM, and he's actually at the crest of the hill. He's somewhere in F1 or F2. Decided to come a little way up the hill because you can see the tracer from where it was coming. At the moment, Citron01 is not having a lot of luck. He's firing the rounds in, but he's just basically testing the waters. Okay, so he's got a number of tanks here which he can hit. Rounds out the budgie. Yep, that was a hit on the engine deck as well. He can do 410 alpha, penetrating 53mm of armor with standard HE, and with the premium rounds, he's got 5 HESH rounds in this game. With the premium rounds, he can do 104mm of armor with 350 alpha. He fired a blind shot there, hoping that he'd get the enemy. No, he didn't. You only get 50 rounds of ammunition, so you need to be careful you don't blow too much on blind shots or anticipated shots. You might run short of ammo later on when you need it. He fires around at the budgie, but the guy dodges the shot again. And now we can see the AMX13AMs come way up the hill, and he just wipes out the 60 GFT, but the AM13AM, AMX13, is, well, it's within sight for a short while. And Citron01 ignored him. Okay, that IKV is out of range. Yes, the VP doesn't fire over the entire range of the map. In order to do that, you have to move close to the center of the map, and then everywhere on the map becomes within range. But if you're sitting on one edge of the map, you can't reach everywhere on the battlefield. Yes, I was saying about the battle assistant you get with Aslains. It's slightly different. The wargaming battle assistant actually can flip upwards suddenly when it comes across an obstruction of some kind, such as a house or whatever, and that leaves you looking down from above on the target you're actually aiming for, instead of actually looking in normal battle assistant mode. And he just fired a heat round at that budgie, but he didn't get a pen. He just made a hole in the ground. Ooh, he wants that budgie. Fires another heat round at it, and it moves again, and he just makes another expensive hole, because heat rounds are expensive for the PP. Rounds out, another heat round, and yet another expensive hole in the ground. He's only got 2 rounds left. He fires another one in, and this time round he gets it perfect, and he gets an impact, and you can see that the battle assistant zoomed its way in. And now we're looking at a T-3485 up on the battlefield, but we've zoomed in so much, so unless I press the G key, you can't see what's going on. So pressing the G key, oh, and another penetrating shot, this time on the Excelsior. Yeah, so I have to keep pressing that G key every time he takes it out of aim, because if I don't, you get a close-up of the enemy target instead of the normal view that you'd like to see. Why do we use this version of the battle assistant? Well, it's much more stable. It won't flip up when you don't want it to, and I think the members do like it that we use. Oh, he just killed an IKV-65 too, and then pulled back immediately. We didn't get to see the kill, but he certainly did get it. He flipped away as quickly as he could because he had so many targets to aim for. He wanted to get dialed in on another target, and the IKV bit the dust. And that's a blind shot, and that's going to miss. Yeah, because the 40 TP had already moved away. But, yep, the 40 TP, there we go, it's flipped out again, you see. The 40 TP died because he came across the tank with a 90mm gun, and he was able to take him out. Yet again, he comes out of aim view, and I have to reset it. The reason I mention this is because somebody said they didn't like the battle assistant I was doing on zooming in all the time. I'm not zooming in, I'm zooming out to let you see what's going on. If I didn't zoom out, all you'd be seeing is close-ups all the time, and you wouldn't see anything of the battle. He lines up a shot on the Panzer IV Aslains. He doesn't go back far enough. He's running short on ammos. Half his ammo's gone now. Rounds out the Panzer IV again. You see, he keeps getting notification the shell's on the way in, and that forces him to move just a little. Fires another one in. This might hit. Close, but no cigar. And now we've lost him, so he's actually firing blind now. Again, you can't afford to do that too often, otherwise you will run out of ammo before the end of the game. And yet again, he gets another miss. We're 2 up from the enemy at the moment, but running short on ammo, and that's going to miss altogether. Oh! No, I'm wrong. He did actually hit that one, and he tracked the guy. I felt sure that was going to miss because he was aiming along the side of the Panzer IV, but the shell did actually hit, and that one's going to miss for sure. He fires blind again. And yet again, another miss. Rounds out the T-3485, who backs into the shell, and he takes a hit for 127. And he fires this time. Unfortunately, the T-3485 managed to back away. Now he's down to 15 shells. And there's still 5 enemy tanks out there, so he's got 3 shells for each tank. That's going to possibly cost him. There's one down. They're 1 down on the enemy now. That T-3485 could be making its way in, but we do find an M4A1 trying to come up the valley. Managed to wing him with splash. He's now taking fire. Just missed him there. And now that... Oh, it's a Leopard with the 3cm cannon. But that's a kill. And a good kill at that, because it's now 5 kills. He's 1 away from getting a Top Gun. Now, can he let the aim settle on this IKV? He doesn't need to. The target's gone. And there are now 3 tanks left on either side, and he's one of them. Okay, zoom back out again. I think he needs to get into cover before the enemy turns up, so he can at least have a chance of fighting them off. I'm pretty sure that T-3485 is going to be headed in this direction. So, zoom back out again, and there is one of them coming. It's the M4A1. He's not headed this direction. I think he's trying to take out the Basotto, but if he's stationary and he stays like that, then we can get a kill. Rounds out. Kill shot! That's the Top Gun. There's still 2 enemies out there, so he could get a Radley's if he can kill both of them. Standard reload time is 8.92 seconds. He's got a reload time of 7.51. Now he's not going to see too far away, because remember, he's got to base his view range on not only his own tank, which is 400 meters or 390, but also on how far his teammates can see. The Chaffee is way up in the hills. We're not going to get any help from him. The Basotto is basically the only person on our team who can spot for us. And, oh, we've spotted that one ourselves. And it's the Panzer IV Arty H. And he takes a massive round in the Cypher 198. Now, he won't be too happy about that. He's looking in this direction. And we fired blind, and this time round we hit the building. So he's definitely coming this way with the intention of killing us. And I think he's got the 105mm gun himself, which is basically the same gun. Here we go. And he got one round into the side, but he took a round from the Panzer IV. Can he get another round in? Go for it. Yes, he does, but he doesn't kill the guy. He takes another round from the Panzer IV, who must be slow on his reload. And there's the kill shot. So now he's got 7 kills. There's one enemy out there, a T-3485, the one he's been firing at quite a lot. And he's only got 6 rounds of ammunition left to do it. And of course, we must remember that T-3485 knows exactly where we are. The question is he... Oh, he's gone for a reset. So he's just killed our Basotto in the cap. So he's not up this end. That's for sure. And Citron01's taking the opportunity to reposition himself so he can ambush that enemy if he tries to come this direction. Because he's not going to expect a shot from one of the other bushes. So if he can get a bit further over, you can see one of the rounds from that Panzer IV actually went straight through the gun barrel. Now we know where the T-3485 is, but he's not firing at him at the moment. The Chaffee's found him, and the Chaffee killed him, and that's the end of the game. Well, that was quite an exciting battle at the end. Citron01 was more concerned with actually positioning himself so he could hide from the T-3485 and missed out on the opportunity to pick up his Radley Walters by firing over to the other side of the battlefield. But I suspect that he was probably slightly out of range anyway, as it was, and he might have had difficulty trying to get a shot in there. He did get an ace tanker out of the game, which is very, very nice indeed, especially in the tier 6 game, because normally ace tankers, you get those for tier 7 games, where you're bottom tier, so you're earning extra XP every time you fire at something that's higher tier than yourself. But in this game, he got an ace for a tier 6 game. He got a Bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he managed to get 18 in this game. A Gauze medal for doing more damage, exceeding 8 times the hit points for his own vehicle. A High Caliber for dealing the most damage in the game, at least 20% of the enemy hit pool. And he also got a Top Gun for getting at least 6 kills. He just one short of getting a Radley Walters. He had 7 kills at the end of this game. Let's have a look at team score. Well, the highest damage was 3,221 hit points to Citron01. The second highest damage in the game turned out to be the Budgie with 2,146, and the third highest damage was one of their IKV 103s who managed to get 1,536. In fact, I think that was the one he blind killed. At least I may have been. No, I don't think it. Sorry, I don't think it was. It was the IKV 65 Alt 2. I think he blind killed by firing and then pulling back and then receiving word that he'd actually killed it. At least I think that was what the answer was. Anyway, when it came to kills, he definitely got the highest with 7. And, well, just one short of getting a Radley's, as I said. The second highest was the T-78, who got 3 kills in that game. And then the third place went to the 7th Vente on his own team. And 4 members of the enemy team, their T-3485, their M4 Sherman, their VK-1602 Leopard, and lastly their Excelsior, all with 2 kills. When it came to base XP, he's definitely got that one. So he's got the top in all 3 columns, 1,386. He was the only player to get over 1,000 in the game, with the M424 Chaffee, the other survivor of the game, getting 713, and the T-78 getting 701 in third place. he fired 44 rounds, so he still had 6 rounds left at the end of the game. 16 direct hits on the enemy, 6 penetrations. Wow, now I'm going to have to go through these to see which ones they are. Well, he definitely penetrated the budgie for 403 hit points. He also penetrated the IKV-65 too. That was the one he blind shot. 287 hit points on that guy. He hit the 60 GFT with a penetrating shot and got 386. And he also penetrated the Excelsior, but he only got 94 hit points for that pen. The Type 58 took a pen for 554, and the M4 Sherman took a pen for 388. So he certainly penned a lot of tanks, but most of his heat rounds actually didn't pen the target. It was only one round that definitely hit the budgie and penned him in that entire bunch, and he was blasting off those heat rounds, making very expensive holes in the ground, but he did get some nice results with the HE. Let's have a look at the rest of the detail. He also got 15 splashes on the enemy, 3,221 hit points, of which 2,746 were at more than 300 meters. He received 2 hits from that Panzer IV Ausführung H, and both penetrated. He was lucky that Panzer IV must have had a damaged ammo rack, and he wasn't able to fix it because he had a much slower reload time than Citron01 did with his 105mm gun. I think they both had the 105mm. It's just that Citron01 was so much faster on his reload. 10 enemy vehicles were damaged, 7 were killed, and he earned 42,998 credits on a free-to-play account, 40,000 for completing a mission, and after repair and ammunition resupply took away 57,327 credits profit. 1,386 base XP times 5 on the first mission of the day, first win of the day. 554 for this being a premium vehicle, and took away 7,484 experience points altogether. Well, with performances like that, you can see why he's got 3 marks of excellence on the barrel, and he did make most of the right choices in terms of positioning himself and shooting at targets, although I think some of the things I would have corrected was that he kept on trying to get either blind shots or repeatedly going after the same target again and again and again and missing, when it might have been easier for him to select a different target, zoom in on that and get hits with that instead. He did get some nice hits though in terms of that VK1602 Leopard, because that guy could have caused some serious damage, but he got him out before he could actually get close enough to do some damage. And of course that in the end, taking on that Panzer IV Ausführung H at close range, even receiving 2 hits, he still managed to come out of it ahead. In fact, the only drawback with that game was that he didn't get a Stark's medal, and the reason he didn't get a Stark's medal was he didn't suffer the loss of 2/3 of the hit points of his vehicle. He actually was very lucky in that sense that he didn't suffer such a big loss. If those losses had been higher, then he would have ended up with the Starks, but he certainly killed at least 2 enemy tanks and survived the battle. But he just didn't get that third element, the loss of 2/3 of his hit points in the game, or blocked 2/3 of his hit points in damage. So congratulations to Citron01. That was an interesting game, and I'm sure we'll be having some more replays from Citron01 in the near future. We have had quite a few from him in the past, for that matter. If you enjoyed that replay, please give this video a like, do subscribe to our channel, leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm, and thank you for watching.